Hopefully you were captivated by that exclusive remix of Neon Slime here on the Drive-In
Yeah.
Asylum double
It looked
feature.
like you were on the set of Conquest for a second there with all that smoke.
Did you love it? That's my big entrance.
I loved it.
Good.
Yeah.
I know you've had some impressive entrance moments, so I
Yeah.
have to compete with your wrestling career.
I like that everybody, it seems like everybody kind of dug it. Now, I'm interested to see what people think. What is their theory of the real story? I'd like to say a few things first, though. Is this a Christmas movie? Seems like the end of the movie hints at perhaps this is a Christmas movie.
Definitely a Christmas movie. I'm claiming it.
Don't
I don't
buy
care
this
what
girl a
anybody
black cat.
says.
Don't buy her a black cat.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. Just like
Yeah.
going to an island, et cetera, that um gifting a black cat kitten on Christmas.
Yeah,
That looked like it was a little bit bigger than a kitten.
it was. Bill, you had the best question. Why did the pilot come back?
Why? That's a good question. I mean, we're to believe that this creature was real
Yeah.
somehow. It confronted her, even though it just seemed like she could have very well been the one that was responsible for these murders because she was
Yeah.
the only person that was there for all of them. And,
Could you kill someone with a flare gun?
I think you could
It depends how close you were, right? But
if you
like,
hit him in the right place.
I mean, she certainly did it. Or did she? Is it all a dream?
Right.
Is this all in her head? Is
If it
she
was a
learning?
dream, she was an extremely precocious child because she
Yeah.
imagined a whole bunch of dirty stuff and very adult situations like her career losing its path and suddenly like she had success and now she's losing the success. It was very complicated.
I don't mean this in a bad misogynist way. I really think this movie would be better remembered if the blonde girl was the lead and the redhead was the friend, because the redhead really doesn't make any opportunity to connect with the audience. Like she doesn't seem like she seems just very not all there, which is that's the story of the movie and it works better as the movie. But there's no one for the audience like to really root for in this. Do they need to root for anybody? I don't know.
Well, we should have been rooting for at least one of the characters. There has to be a final girl.
Definitely not
And
the brother.
no, he was an a-hole,
And the
Steve Wilson.
also if is my other two questions. One, is this the first Airbnb ever? Because it's a bad idea. Two, if I'm staying in someone else's house, I'm not going to go up into their. I'm not going to go to their basement and try to fix water problems, and I'm not going to go up into the attic and get my head stuck.
He seemed a little too concerned about that water getting into the basement since he
Yeah,
didn't live there.
they were only going to be there for what, like maybe another day. Like fuck it. Do you know what I mean? Like this ain't your house. Like it's cool.
Oh, I thought they were going to be there for a whole week.
Oh, or even if, like, right? How bad is it going to get? It's going to flood the Who cares if the basement floods?
Yeah, you're not going to have to deal with the
Yeah.
repercussions of that,
Call
so
someone
fuck
in the
it.
morning and tell them, hey, the basement's flooded, but we're good here.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned it was the world's first Airbnb. Why why was this place so clean and beautiful and the sheets were all brand new?
I would
They
not want to
slipped
get
right
into the
in there.
sheets.
Oh, I know. It would be so gross because it had been a long time since anyone had been there, or
Just like
was it?
just like everybody in last week's movies, they moved, just got into this house and they're like, oh, these beds look great, and they just slid right in, right?
Yeah, that fridge was stocked. The bed was fresh and the fridge was
The
stocked.
fridge was stocked. There's food. The bar was even more stocked. They had more stuff in their bar than I have in mine, which I have a lot. Right? Like
I know you do have a lot.
everything was set. I don't get it. Or was it just a trap? Was it like the Slayer was like, I lure you in with bottles of champagne and good fishing? How about that guy getting?
Uh-huh.
How many slashers does someone get killed with an oar? Not that many.
Oh, before we go any further, I have to apologize to everybody because I linked to the YouTube video, and of course that's edited for the gore. So unfortunately, the version I listed was edited, so I apologize.
I'll tell you what, that you weren't lying. That pitchfork kill is grisly.
It really is, isn't it? I think
And
it's
it's a
so
really
effective.
simple effect too, but it looks great. I
Yeah, I
really
think
like
so
it.
too. And I
Yes.
hope everybody saw it
Yeah.
because, again, dummy me linked to the wrong link. So you should have watched it on Tubi. Hopefully, I know Sean Midas messaged me and I warned him, but I think it was too late. He already
Yeah.
missed all the good stuff. If you did suffer through the movie without any of the explicit gore, go back and watch those gore moments because they're very well done. And
Yeah.
obviously, the reason that this movie was probably even conceived in the first.
The most upsetting thing in it for me was when she found her friend's body on the beach and the crabs were all over her face. Like
Yeah,
that looked like kind of real. It's like, oh, that's probably what would happen. They'd start devouring her. Like that was pretty intense.
that happens in Frogs
Yeah.
also. Remember the snapping alligator turtle kills Lynn Borden
Yeah.
in the swamp and drowns her, and then when they find her body, there's crabs all over her eating
Yeah.
her.
Yep. Becca brought up when she was little, she was always afraid we wouldn't have a place to sleep on road trips. So I'd make my parents stop at the first place we would see. Needless to say, I stayed in some shitholes across the U.S. I've upped my hotel games as an adult. She has. She does not. She makes sure hotels are real nice before we stay there. Yeah.
Good eye. This place was nice.
You know what other part was upsetting? When her husband's head was in the bed and the eyes open and went, and then blood started pouring out of
Yeah,
the eyes. That was a really great scene, too.
his mouth was moving too.
Yeah.
He was burbling and blood was spilling out. That was disturbing. Ugh.
My wife said that everybody in this movie felt like a bunch of teachers. Like a bunch of teachers went on vacation together. They're all very kind of just normal, kind of plain Jane people.
Her man boy was gaslighting her. I guess.
And then they woke up and her brother was excited to open Christmas gifts. The end. Will she grow up and go through the same Slayer all over again? Maybe. It's a cautionary tale. It could happen to you.
She circled back on her entire life.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good deal. You
Yeah.
know, it's very it's reincarnation.
Yeah. Tim watched the edited version. Sorry, Tim.
Sorry,
Becca
Tim.
just said you didn't miss much. Becca, not a fan of this movie. Did you not? You like the cat. That was it.
Yeah, unfortunately, the cat. I forgot there was a reference to animal violence. They don't
Yeah.
actually show it in the
Yeah.
film.
If you like fish, this ain't the
Oh,
movie.
there was that too. I
Fish
forgot.
cleaning. Yeah. Yeah. She said she's fine with that. Fish cleaning. It was a nice size place and it was very clean inside, but it's funny because like the basement and the attic were absolute shit. The kitchen was really nice, except the fridge was really small. The fridge was like an ice chest. Do you know what I mean? Like you really couldn't put a meal into that fridge.
No, and it was supposed to be a resort. So I want to know where the real refrigerator was. Like, how were they going to feed all these people that were supposedly staying at this resort? And it's on an island where you have to take a plane to get there.
Yeah.
It's not like you can leave and go to a restaurant. So they had to have
If they walked into the fridge, do you think it would have had a bunch of feet hanging up like Tara Red Wolf in?
swinging
Yeah.
torsos on
Yeah.
hooks.
Little capered ribs or whatever those are. The thing they put on the
Oh,
ribs.
if they're lucky, they did. I have to tell everybody that I still have not posted our commentary that we recorded for Terror at Red Wolf Inn, aka Terror House, aka Terror on the Menu, whatever you call it. One of our favorite films. We recorded a just for fun audio commentary for YouTube, but I'm still in the editing phase. It's been taking me forever because I've had a whole bunch of projects. So it is coming.
Yeah,
And
it's
thanks to everybody who said they were excited about hearing it.
Sean liked the movie so much he ordered the Arrow disc, so that's good. I feel bad because I always tell Sean, you should get that. Like anytime Sean says, should I get this? And I'm always like, yeah. I'm like, I'm that kind of friend. I'm never gonna tell you. Yeah, his wife probably loves me. I'm not the friend that says, maybe you shouldn't buy that box set. I'm the friend that says, oh my God, you should get that. That's awesome. So
If
that's
you don't buy it now, you're going to regret it.
yeah. I'm the devil on your shoulder that says you should get it while the slipcase is still available. That's the friend that I am.
Or you were razzing me about slipcases on the first
I
segment.
know. I'm joking. I'm joking.
You said because I wouldn't buy Sertron, I was analogous to people who are into slipcases.
I was just making fun of people. I like slipcases a lot. Yeah, Becca just said she just busted my balls in the background. She said, "That's why you buy these. You always say I need the slipcase first. I need to get the early one."
Thank you, Nora, for reminding everybody. Please click like, and if you really like us, share. We appreciate all of you coming back on the second segment to hang out and talk about these two fantastic films that we have tonight.
Yeah, I'm glad that everybody seemed to enjoy this. There's some fun stuff in it. There's a longer gore scene, obviously the beach stuff, and then the pitchfork scene seemed a little bit extended in the video nasty version, if you will, of the film.
Yeah, all of it is edited in the
Yeah.
version that's on YouTube, unfortunately. Especially the first murder. Like they don't show any of the decapitation. It's like a half decapitation where his head gets stuck in the door and you can see like this big ugly flap of skin hanging over. You can tell he's mortally wounded. And you just see him dying like from the head up, but they don't even show his head in the edited version. It's
I
just
think
sort of
it's
like cuts
funny
over.
though, because like if you think of the movies coming out in '82, most of the victims in them are teenagers, and there's like some TNA quotient to them, and this movie has none of that. This is like we're gonna make a adult drama about the problems of a woman, and also 3 people getting killed on an island, and maybe a pilot.
There is always the possibility that it's her
Yeah,
also.
yeah, that's the other
Don't
thing I
ever
want to talk about.
forget
Is
that.
she the killer?
Because
Also,
when they show the silhouette of the Slayer, it does kind of look like a female figure,
yeah,
and it has that like Def Leppard style hair when you finally see it. So
yeah,
maybe it's like this monstrous version of her.
yeah. I think also the what do you call if you can't if you want to stay up all night, smoke a lot of cigarettes, and burn yourself. Laura said lots of
Mhm.
psycho women on this channel lately. Yeah, we haven't really planned this, and there's going to be another one next week too. Don't there's one coming up next week, but the one next week's more positive. It's a crazy woman who takes it out on people, not herself. So teaser for one of the movies next week potentially. But yeah,
Yeah,
there have been a lot of women freaking out. Just wait till we get to Lizard in the Woman's Skin, or what's the other one? The other culture one. Yeah, Lizard in the Woman's Skin. That's the one. That's the grand freak out.
oh yeah. Well, the bat scene
Yeah,
forever.
exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, I it just happens. We just tend to like these kind of freakouts. But yeah, this one's again. The director said he was trying to make a H.P. Lovecraft movie, which is not always like The Void or a movie that has a lot of effects. It kind of teases towards something. So
It's also sort of pre Nightmare on Elm Street,
yeah,
dare I say.
yeah, it definitely is. And there's the "don't go to sleep" kind of thing at the end.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
That's sort of like zap back to a childhood thing.
yeah. She kind of wakes up and Ralphie's waiting to go down and open up his Red Ryder gun. Her brother's got like a whole cowboy outfit on, ready to go. So
What child oversleeps on Christmas?
the worst. My brother and I would wake up at 3:30, 4 in the morning. I'm sure my parents had spoiler for anyone that still believes in Santa. My parents had probably just gone to sleep and put everything together. You know what I mean? And then we'd wake up at 3:30 in the morning, like full of energy, a half an hour after we went to bed. You know, ready to run downstairs and start doing stuff.
Me too. I could barely go to sleep.
Oh,
and I would sit there and listen to the sounds of wrapping presents
Yeah.
and try and convince myself that that didn't mean they were down there wrapping all the presents
My parents would
because I
tell me,
wanted Santa.
they would tell us, like, if you come down or if you wake up too early, Santa's not going to visit. And I'm like, I don't want to ruin Christmas for my brother. That's
Yeah,
what she
who's
would,
gonna risk that?
yeah. And so we would just stay in bed. And eventually, like, exhaustion would take us. You know what I mean? Like, we certainly weren't falling asleep. And we're just, like, super excited. And then the next day, we got to wear our bunny suits. I got a really cool gift one year. I got a Hal Needham stuntman set. It came with like a fake glass window and an action figure that you could throw through the window. How cool is that?
What are some horror gifts that you remember getting for Christmas?
Oh man, I got all the Crestwood books one year from my uncle. The orange covered hardback books that were all the horror books. He
Mm.
bought me the original set of 6 because he was a librarian, so he could, Where did you order books in the 70s, right? So, man, Steve said his parents gave him shots of J&B on Christmas Eve. Were your parents Jalo killers?
They were in a
Yeah,
Jalo,
they came with like
Steve
a
will say.
leather glove, and they're like, "Here, Steve, young Steve, take this." Man, what else? I got Sucker Man one year, and I got
I got Sucker Man.
yeah, remember Sucker Man? And then I got I know for birthday one year I got Rodan, the Shogun Warrior Rodan, the real big one, which was a great gift.
Oh wow, that was nice.
Yeah, that's like my favorite. That was my 4th grade birthday, which I'll never forget because I did like a roller skating party, and then we went back to my grandmother's, and I was gifted with my final gifts. I was like one of those kids like, oh, this is a great day, but I didn't get Rodan, and I knew Rodan, and then I got home, and they're like, here it is. And I was pleased with Rodan.
I remember seeing that in the catalog and thinking, wow, I'd love to have that
I
Rodan.
had the Godzilla and the Rodan, yeah. My brother just got someone makes them online, makes 3D printed Shogun Godzillas. They got a glow. It's a totally glow in the dark one. The whole thing's cast in glow in the dark plastic. It's really cool. What are some that you got, Bill? Did you get any horror gifts ever for the holidays?
Yeah, I did. I got a lot of horror stuff, even though there was always this sense of, well, you shouldn't really be asking for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I got some cool shit. I got like I remember somebody bought me Dracula and Frankenstein action figures.
Mm.
If I had them, they're probably worth like hundreds of dollars now. They were like, a GI Joe, but it was Dracula. I definitely had Dracula and Frankenstein. I may have had a third one, like the Mummy or the
I had the
Wolfman.
mummy because I remember his bandages were printed on his clothes. He had like a jumpsuit
Oh
on,
wow.
and they were printed. And then I also had like the table that Frankenstein went on, and it had like a cage that went over the top of it, and you put it on and it lifted him up, and it had like fake lightning went around him. It was really
Okay, I think I remember that.
Yeah, it was
But
really cool. Remco made them, I think.
I don't know what happened to them. They had glow in the dark faces.
Oh man,
The ones that I had glowed in the dark.
that's awesome.
I remember getting a paint by numbers of monsters, and all the white spaces had glow in the dark paint.
Oh, that's awesome.
So all the white paint was like fluorescent. I remember getting the alien action figure. I got that one year. And Dick Smith's makeup kit,
Oh
monster
man.
makeup kit.
Oh, that's an awesome.
Oh, that was a beautiful gift. It really was. It had all kinds of stuff in it. Like you could make very realistic wounds with it, like with this latex stuff they put in there.
Yeah.
I made bullet holes and gashes and stuff, and it was disturbingly real. At
Oh
least
man.
I thought so at that age.
The other crazy gift I had was they did small versions of the monsters, and I had a Phantom of the Opera one. I remember that, and he
Ooh.
glowed too, and it was pretty cool. Because he was kind of like an off-brand. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing to have all the Universal stuff, but you get like a kind of off-brand one was pretty cool. So yeah, trying to think what other monster. A lot of always got like monster books. You know what I mean? Like so there weren't as many by the late 70s, early 80s. There were less toys that were monster themed. You know?
Either that or you just grew out of it.
I did. I
You
still
weren't watching anymore.
you know?
Well, I saw commercials for that stuff when I was like looking at Halloween commercials. There were a lot of monsters toys like in the late 80s and early 90s. Like there was a one where there was a mad scientist laboratory
Oh
and there
yeah,
were creatures in it that like you would put liquid in it that started bubbling. That looked fun.
Mad Monster Lab or whatever it was. Yeah. Did you ever see Max Effects? Those toys that came out.
Not I don't remember off the top of my head.
Matchbox made them. They were like he was supposed to be a special effects artist, and he came with different outfits. And they made the first one they did was Freddy, and of course parents freaked out, and they got pulled off the shelves. There's going to be an alien figure for those too. I have the Max Effects Freddy, and I have one of the vinyl Freddys that Matchbox made before they got pulled off shelves.
Nice.
Yeah, so Big Lots had them. They closed them out and sent them all to Big Lots. They couldn't be on their major shelves, but it was okay to be at Big Lots. So I had those. And then I always wanted the Aurora kits, but I was a little too young for those. You know, the like the Victim kit and like the Vampirella and stuff. I always wanted those. Like I'd see them in, you know, the anything that was for sale in the back pages of Creepy or Eerie or Famous Monsters. All the Captain Company set. I wanted stuff. I wanted all that stuff.
I wasn't into model building because I just didn't think I could do it. I think I tried to do it once and I didn't have the patience for it.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I just didn't want to be bothered with building all that shit. I liked it though. I thought it was
Oh, I
cool
loved
looking.
it. We had my dad would build models with us, so we would do we would build them and he would paint them for us. So it was fun. It was fun to work on with them.
But see, you had somebody that could do it. You know, there were
Yeah,
no adults in my life that were into that. So
yeah,
I didn't miss out on anything. Like I don't really mind that I never had the models. I had so much other cool shit.
yeah. I mean, you had the Death Star and that stuff. You know, I mean, that's pretty cool.
The Death Star space station.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Laura mentioned in the chat that she had the Barbie dream house, and
yeah,
I thought the Barbie dream house was amazing with that elevator,
yeah.
and I wanted to play Barbie dream house all the time, but of course I couldn't because I was a boy. So instead, I got the Death Star space station, which was basically the same thing.
You got that room full of sponges that had the sewer monster in it.
Yes, the
Yeah,
trash compactor.
I love that little guy. That little thing that's I'm sure he has a name, but that little
It
thing.
looked like the Loch Ness monster.
Yeah, we took
At
him
least
out and like most kids kept him in that room. We took him out. And we just kind of played with him on his own. He kind
I
of dropped.
still had that even after the actual toy was long gone. I still had that monster.
I would bet that at my mom's house, it's still in the junk drawer of her house because that was like one of the places where it lived. You know?
Again, if you had it and it was in reasonable condition, it's probably worth a lot of money.
Oh yeah. Well, Beck and I were watching a video the other day. Like even loose stuff now, if it's graded or if it's hard to find, it's still worth a lot of money. So I think about a lot of the stuff. Like we had a lot of like Dukes of Hazzard stuff, and I'm sure that would probably be worth something at this point too. But it's all gone.
So that's the Slayer, I guess. I think we talked that out.
Yeah, the Slayer. No clamoring for a sequel or many people
No,
talking about it, but I think it's pretty solid. So, Bill,
I dig it too.
tell me why I'm going to love our next movie. I've never seen it.
Vice Squad.
Yeah, I purposely haven't read anything about it this week. I'm not going to spoil it for myself.
Okay, well, number one, it's directed by Gary Sherman.
Uh huh.
So, and I know how much you love Dead and Buried. This was
Yeah.
the movie he made right after Dead and Buried.
Okay.
So that right there, it's photographed by John Alcott,
Hmm.
who is, of course, the cinematographer who created so many classic films, and among them being Terror Train.
Hmm.
It has this wonderful look to it that you're going to identify with immediately. And Wings Hauser's in it.
Sold.
What else do I have to say?
Yeah, right. I think it's funny because, like you said, that Gary Sherman directed this, and a lot of people said that the Slayer and Dead and Buried feel like they're in the same universe. So that makes a little bit of sense.
We have a bridge to this film between
Yeah,
these two movies.
yeah,
Sort of.
yeah. And what isn't Cheryl Smith, Rainbow Smith in this movie? Briefly in Vice Squad.
Yes. She doesn't have a really big role though. The main role is played by Season Hubley.
It's bad casting. I
She's a
would switch.
hooker named Princess, and her
Well,
pimp is Wings Hauser Ramrod, and he's this like psychotic pimp. And oh, there's all sorts of trouble. It's just trouble. This life on the street.
what movie was Wings Hauser ever been in where he was not psychotic? Even when he's the hero, like he's nuts.
He was in that zombie movie. What was that called?
Creature.
Mutant, I think it was
Yeah.
called.
There's another Nightmare at Noon, which is the same movie. They're almost the same movie. He's in both of those. Yeah.
Night Shadows was the alternate title of Mutant.
That's the movie that bankrupt. What do you call it? Film Ventures.
FBI.
Yeah, that's the movie he ran away with all the money after. Never to be Montanero, never to be seen again. Goodbye. I'm taking my money and running.
Yeah, I think Rogers. This is how I feel too. I'm gonna love to see your reaction to it.
Chris said Nina Blackwood's in it. Okay, I like it already. Right?
Oh, she is? I didn't know that.
Her voice is scratchy as it is now. She's on Sirius now, and it sounds like she smokes like 4 packs a day, which I think she does. Someone else has said,
Wow.
said it's like Angel before Angel, and I'm into that too.
She smoked so many cigarettes because this Slayer was after her.
The Slayer.
And not Carrie King.
No, not Carrie King. Yeah, it's funny that nobody. What has happened to the Angel movies? They really don't make movies like this anymore.
Well, now there's all these programs on Lifetime and the ID Network that get all this seedy thrills in, and it's real life, at least as they tell it.
I mean, I could watch SVU all day and never see it just nonstop. Right?
That's some of the sickest shit I've ever seen has been on that program.
I love that I can't remember what comedian said it. The joke about everybody's always working on SVU. Like whenever cops are interviewing them and they're just still picking up boxes, they don't even stop working. And the cops like
they're so busy they can't even stop to talk to the police.
He's like, Tony? Yeah, I know him. And still like lifting boxes. Like it's amazing.
It's like talking to the police is so familiar to them that they're over it. Like it's not that big of a deal.
I love whenever we would try to cast New York talent. They'd be like, "Oh, well, I was in an episode of Law and Order," and I was like, "Everybody has been in New York. Like, you've done it." You know what I mean? Like it's on your resume. Though I do love when somewhat famous to me people show up on Law and Order. Though. You know what I mean? When there's like a guest star that's like, "Oh, that's like a pretty high level guest star."
Like who? Who really excited you that they were on Law and Order?
This is putting me on the spot now. I can't remember now. There was one where it was like a mom was trying to keep someone out of jail, and I can't remember who was in it.
Well, Rutanya Alda is always on Law and Order.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she was on 3 different episodes. She was on SVU and I think 2 different Law and Order episodes.
Yeah.
There's a great one she was on with Jeffrey, the guy who was in Salem's Lot, who was the grave digger. Jeffrey
Lewis. What's her name?
Jeffrey Lewis, yeah.
It blew my mind when I realized that he's what's her name's dad from Cape Fear. Juliette Lewis. And once you realize it, right. Oh yeah, they have the same eyeballs.
There is a resemblance.
There is a resemblance. Who's your favorite Law and Order guest? You don't know? You watch many episodes of Law and Order. We watch a lot of Murder, She Wrote, and I like when if Murder, She Wrote and exploitation movies have like a lot of the same kind of casting, right? Because you need at least 20 people for every episode of Murder, She Wrote. So they always just let's just get John Saxon. He's in a bunch of Murder, She Wrote. Capuchina is the French actress is in at least 2 episodes of Murder, She Wrote. I love when this happens.
Well, Michael Moriarty was on Law and Order for several years.
Yes. The first couple seasons.
Yeah. Speaking of Salem's Lot, George Zunza was on for the first season.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he did not continue past the first season.
Oh.
Damn.
Yeah.
They murdered his character too.
Oh.
They didn't just write him off. His character got murdered.
Who's your favorite Law and Order character? This is interesting to me now. Stable, you know,
Favorite
Stabler?
character?
Yeah.
I
You
don't
like
know
a
that I
Stabler?
have a. I mean, I like all of them, in
Yeah.
some way, and that's
Ice-T.
the truth. I mean, I regard all of them at about the same level.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
I like Ice-T because he's always like, you have to explain everything to him.
Oh, you mean SVU? Well, there's
SVU.
Law and Order, and there's Law and Order
Oh, I
SVU.
didn't.
You have
I
to
didn't break it.
differentiate.
Yeah.
I'm Liv 100%.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ice-T. Liv is my favorite SVU character,
Oh,
although I
like
do love Tuturola.
Oh yeah. Do you like Munch?
I love Munch.
I love Munch. Yeah.
I guess I was into Stabler, but after he left, I didn't miss him as much as I thought I would. He was starting to get boring.
On the new show.
Yeah, I don't watch that.
Not me either. If it's not in reruns and 20 years old and I can't watch 8 episodes of it in a row, it doesn't exist.
Oh, Vincent D'Onofrio is my favorite
Oh yeah, I forgot.
of all the Law and Orders. You got thank you, Chris Fasonic, for knowing me so well.
Yeah.
I am totally Vincent D'Onofrio all the way. If I could choose from any of the programs.
Yeah. I get it.
Bring back Vincent D'Onofrio.
He's a favorite. Yeah, if I'm gonna watch one of those shows, I'll watch that. Becca also likes what, Cold Case? Is that the other one you like? Cold Case she likes, don't like that one. No, it's not on anymore. What's the other one you like? They did? There's a Cold Case episode about Michael Myers, she said.
Yep.
So there you go. Hey, look at.
I think we should do the cocktail because I liked doing it early last.
Let me turn my head again. So I'm like in the same position.
Strike a pose. There's nothing to it. All right, so let's do it. Take it away, other Sam.
Boo, boo, boo. You're arrested. Hands up.
My vice cops got me again. All right. Well, this is neon slime. This is a drink that I learned how to make in the clink out of the toilet. So get ready. Like toilet booze. What's the neon? The neon is the Midori and the sweet and sour mix. What's the slime? It's the eggs. You know, I think really the Coca-Cola Corporation probably gonna be super happy that I'm using Starry.
It's actually very good.
Is it? It's got more bite?
It has more bite than Sprite, I think.
Maybe we'll get sponsored. Like, hey, if you like Vice Squad and you like the drink, the official drink of Vice Squad, you can only do it with Starry.
Mm-hmm. I like the name too.
Turn the label on. I like the logo. I like what they're doing here. All right. Here we go. It's hard to launch a new soda. They tried to launch that OK Soda in the 90s and it just didn't work. What other ones? They tried to bring Shasta back.
Crystal Pepsi.
Crystal Pepsi. They tried a couple times for that. They always try different flavors. It just never works. The Mountain Dew, the Blue Mountain Dew worked, but I think it's just because it was...
Red Mountain Dew.
Oh, Code Red.
Code Red.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I thought you liked Baja Blast.
That too. That's when I'm only eating Taco Bell though.
They have ice cream now. Baja Blast ice cream.
I don't know about that.
Okay. Anyway, let's talk about neon slime. We're going to go with 1.5 ounces of Midori, 1/2 ounce of Southern Comfort, 1/2 ounce of sweet and sour, or you can take lemon juice and simple syrup and divide that. But I had sweet and sour mix, so that worked out. 1/2 ounce egg whites, that's the slime, and 1 ounce of Starry, or any lemon lime soda, but let's say Starry because we're trying to get sponsored. Anyway, here comes the neon. And then here comes some more neon. And a little bit of Starry. And finally, let's
Egg
put in
whites.
egg whites.
Where are you going to get egg whites in prison? Oh, I don't want to
You'll
know.
be surprised.
No.
That's how you get them. Anyway, that's how I learned on the streets, the tough streets. Me and Angel work in the corner. Anyway, make sure that's sealed.
You almost let it go.
Almost let it go. Almost let
Why
it go.
is it dripping?
That's what he said.
Baby.
Okay, here we go. Neon slime. Oh my gosh, it is slimy. And it is neon.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, it's super pretty. I'm very excited about this drink. I've been excited about this drink all week.
Again, if you get a stomach ache for us, please don't sue us.
I drank farm eggs for another drink, and I lived. I think I'll live through the egg whites here. But anyway, Pazuzu, and let's try some neon slime. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be Bill's favorite drink. I really think this has the taste of drinks that Bill likes. So hopefully you're getting to make it, Bill. And forgot to say, my friend AC Nicholas donated or gifted us with this bottle of Midori, which was very hard to find in PA. Can't find it in Monongahela. Can't find it in the North Hills. So he brought us all a bunch of bottles of it. So thank you very much. It's in this drink. Enjoy the movie.
I have some of that Midori right here in this cocktail, AC Nicholas. So Pazuzu, to all of you. I love this fancy glassware you have now, Sam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I make the drinks in the afternoon, and then I put the drinks in these to keep them cool.
My ice is insufficient. There. All right.
Lovely.
So now we have a cocktail. Now we can look at some ads for Vice Squad. Which, both tonight's movies are from 1982. But Vice Squad just made it because it was early January that it first hit theaters. So technically, this could somehow be considered a 1981 film,
It could be.
That's close enough. I would think so anyway. But technically, both tonight's movies are 1982 jewels. At least we think they are. Vice Squad. A beautiful film. And here it is in Pittsburgh.
Whoa.
Check out those theaters, Sam. Cinema at South, Cinema World, the
Showcase
Fulton.
North.
Mm-hmm. You could drive north on McKnight Road and eventually get there at the Showcase North.
I would say that was one of the nicer theaters in Pittsburgh, wouldn't you?
Well, back then, yeah, those were the fancy theaters, that were considered the most comfortable, etc. The best.
That's where I saw
sound.
Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, it was a big theater.
They really were not that nice. Like years later, after people started going all out building theaters, you go back and look at them, and you're like, oh, this was nice.
Yeah, but at the time.
And I skipped ahead a little bit here, but since this is up on screen, we'll already look at it. This was later in 1982, obviously, when drive-in season was in full swing. Here was Vice Squad playing theatrically at the drive-in with Escape from New York.
Love it.
And there's lots of hot stuff here, isn't there?
There sure is.
Cat
Some kind of hero with victory.
Cat People with American Werewolf.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Cat People and American Werewolves just trying to put out the fire with gasoline.
There's an NPM triple, Lunch Wagon Girls, Summer Camp, and Locker Room Girls.
I like that the Dependable was like, let's show the in-laws with two porn movies.
I know, right?
Oh, I love it. And Stripes, the El Rancho, bro. Airplane, Stripes, and Some Kind of Hero is a pretty rad triple feature. Any idea what the 5 features for the all-night spook show were?
I was hoping that you would ask that. Let's look at it. Here it is. Okay, so this was that one where the titles were really sort of meaningless because we have Night of the Living Dead, of course, which anybody could show and didn't really have to pay anyone for it. They're Coming to Get You, which you might think is the Edwidge Fenech Giallo, All the Colors of the Dark, but it's not. I don't think it was for this. I think it was Dracula versus Frankenstein.
Yes, good call.
Even though that is the title that they used when they showed that movie in the States, the Edwidge Fenech film, for some reason this just got cut into a print. I'm sure there's a really good reason that involves it being really cheap. And They're Coming to Get You was the title they cut into Dracula versus Frankenstein. And Night of the Howling Beast was the Corpse Grinders.
Oh well, I thought it would be The Craving, so that's awesome.
No, it was the Corpse Grinders. It really had nothing to do with anything. Even though Night of the Howling Beast is the name of a Paul Naschy film,
Yep.
here it was. And House of Torture was Wizard of Gore.
Oh wow.
Not sure what Screams of Flesh and Blood is.
Huh.
It's got to be something good, right?
Chris says that it was All the Colors. He saw this bill in Altoona. So wow, with the ending cut off.
Okay, well, I hope it was. I
Yeah.
hope it was. But at some point, there was a bill just like this where it was just random titles of movies. And instead of All the Colors of the Dark, they showed Dracula versus Frankenstein. It was Sam Sherman lineup because he was the one who owned the rights to the distribution of those films.
Also, that version completely cuts the entire ending of the movie out. Like it ends when the cultists attack as supposedly zombies, and you lose about 15 minutes of what the movie's actually about, which is mind blowing. But the poster
Anyway,
we've talked about before, the posters, the movie we want to see. I would
So
assume
here's
this
some more.
played with Escape from New York because they're both Avco Embassy movies, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
And Escape from New York had sort of burned out as an A feature, so it
Yeah.
probably just got tacked on to double features.
Yeah.
That is Season Hubley on the poster.
Mm.
Our heroine, Princess. That's her name in the film. I remember when this showed on TV, the TV guide synopsis always said a prostitute, and in parentheses it said played by Season Hubley. So that when you saw Season Hubley's name in parentheses, you didn't think they were calling her a prostitute.
Ah.
I guess I'm back at the beginning here. There weren't
Wow.
that many. Oh no, here's another one. I must have put it in there twice.
Man, let me see here. What's okay? I can. Do you want to guess which movie East I would go see?
Absence of Malice.
Yeah, Sharky's Machine, 100%.
Sharky's Machine.
I love Sharky's Machine. An HBO movie that was on all the time, like nonstop.
Isn't Rachel Ward in that?
I believe so. Yeah, it's a what do you call it? A Burt Reynolds movie. It's pretty great. At West, Heavy Metal or Vice Squad. It's in between, right? And then at North, Ghost Story. Yeah.
Ghost Story.
Yeah, I like Ghost Story a lot. Or Ragtime. No, I'm just kidding.
You would not see Ragtime.
There's a pizza place in Duquesne called Ragtime Pizza, which always makes me laugh. It's like, what does ragtime music have to do with pizza? Like, it seems like the weirdest name for a company ever.
How about Taps? Another stunning role for Tom Cruise.
Oh, that's where he got his start, Bill. Pretty close, right?
Yeah. I guess. Now I think Risky Business came before that, didn't it?
Did? Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. I never saw any of his movies other than the one where he's a hockey player. Isn't there one where he's a hockey player? No.
That's Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe. Oh, what's the one, All the Right Moves? Is that Tom Cruise?
No, that's a football movie.
One.
He's not a hockey player.
Yeah, I hated both those movies. Becca likes Jerry Maguire a lot. She just said, "Oh, Jerry Maguire" in the background. So.
On Golden Pond was still making the rounds too.
Yeah, that stayed around forever. Yeah, there's a lot of these are all serious movies playing here, though. You know,
except Vice Squad
and Heavy Metal. Yeah, Sharky's Machine, I guess, isn't that serious either. But everything else is like Absence of Malice and Ragtime and Windwalker. These are all, you know. Oh, Leif knows the order. It's Endless Love, Taps, Outsiders, then Risky Business. So thank you. Thanks for the Ghost Story love. I really like Ghost Story. It's long, but it's it just has something that I enjoy. Man.
I always forget about the Outsiders.
Next week, tune in for 2 Tom Cruise movies on Drive-In Double Sound double feature. We'll be watching Top Gun and Top Gun 2.
Drive-In Double Asylum.
Drive-In Double Sound.
That has to be the name for our show.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Tune in for Vanilla Sky and I'm trying to think of another really shitty one. Now somebody be like, hey, I like Vanilla Sky, Sam. Sorry. The Firm.
War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds, yeah. Becca likes that one. Becca likes a lot of Tom Cruise movies, and I'm like, Interview with the Vampire. Yeah, she likes a lot of Tom Cruise.
Oh my God. Interview with the Vampire Tom Cruise is the worst.
The only Tom Cruise movie I can think of that ever picked to watch is Eyes Wide Shut. And she hates Top Gun. She had never seen Top Gun. She's born in '84. So
I can't believe you hate Top Gun, Becca. I would
hated
have
it.
pegged you as a Top Gun fan.
She's not into planes. She just said, you know what movie she does like? Cocktail. She loves Cocktail. She is obsessed with Cocktail. She has the soundtrack.
Talk about a movie that doesn't make any sense. That's Cocktail.
She'll fight you about that movie. We should have 1 week just Becca and Bill. Bill, 1 week we'll have Becca and Mark host, and they'll just pick 2 movies they want to watch. And everybody will be like, why are we watching Cocktail and like The Creature from the Black Lagoon? Those don't go together. The Bad Seed. Yeah, Becca really likes Cocktail. I'm not, however, I am not allowed to do my fancy cocktail pouring after I drop. Yeah, I gotta go outside.
What about Magnolia?
Yeah,
I don't remember Magnolia.
He's really good at Magnolia. I will say that. Becca hates Magnolia. I try to make her watch it. She's like, why did you make me watch this movie? This is so boring. And she did not like it. So trying to think any other Tom Cruise movies.
I got so much Midori at the drive-in. I got a bottle from Chris and I got a bottle from you guys for my birthday.
Yeah, we Midori'd it up.
I am so well stocked on Midori right now. I love it.
Somebody said to me last night, yeah, all the drinks are green from here on out. Someone said the other night, I read it on Facebook, like, the best action movie ever is Mission Impossible. And I was like, no. And I was like, got really
That's
angry.
wrong.
Yeah, wrong. But I think I've talked to you about before. I remember I mentioned on the show. Is like, I feel like on social media, I hit like a limit where I'm like, I just got to get off because I'm going to be mean to people. Because when I read something like that, I'm like, wrong. Like, I'm like ready to start typing something. I'm like, nah, nobody wants to know. So I'm just real nice. And then I just say, oh, yeah, cool. That's fine. You know?
Rain Man.
Yeah, Rain Man. Yeah. No. You know what's funny is much as I don't like Tom Cruise, I've suffered through a lot of his movies. He's good in
You can't escape him. I mean, he's one of those people that, you're gonna love Tom Cruise no matter what. If you want to go to any movie.
What's the movie he's in with Jack Black? The one where he's like in all the makeup.
Oh, that's the Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder. Yeah, he's fine in that because it doesn't look like him, and he's kind of playing against type. He's all right.
I guess that is one Tom Cruise movie that I like.
Because Jack Black is in it, right?
Of course.
Yes.
No, I like Tropic Thunder for more reasons.
No,
than
I know.
Jack
I'm just
Black.
joking. I'm just joking with you. Becca likes Legend a lot. That's another Tom Cruise movie that she likes. He doesn't talk in it, so she said she likes that. The Outsiders. She also likes. She likes a lot more Tom Cruise movies than I even know exist. He wasn't in he was in The Mummy. That's probably his only horror movie. Remember they were going to be like, hey, we're going to do this dark universe, and it's going to
it's going to be really awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And people are like, oh man, they're going to bring back all the Universal monsters, and they're like, no, they're not.
They were talking about doing Bride of Frankenstein after The Mummy, and then when The Mummy tanked, they were like, no, we're not going to do it. No. I haven't watched Renfield yet. Have you?
I haven't, and I have not watched it yet. So
yeah, neither have I.
I think it'll be fine.
You think it'll be?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have like that, and I have Evil Dead, and I have something else that I wanted to see, and I'm like, and at no point have I been like, oh, I can't wait to see these. Like, I don't really feel like that about it. But man, put on a Tubi movie about yoga instructors trying to kill each other, and I'm like, well, I'll watch that. You know?
Yeah, the stuff that that I end up not watching versus what I should be watching
Yeah.
is really sometimes kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
When I talk about
mean,
Law and Order, that's how I know Law and Order so well. It's because I'm
I mean,
watching that all the time.
taking from someone who watched 3 Godfrey Ho Ninja movies today, I really shouldn't be watching any of these movies, but I do it, and that is what it is. What can you do? I was going to tell you something else. I can't remember. What else?
Hey, our guests for next week have confirmed.
They
so,
have?
yes, they have.
Awesome.
And I think we can say without impunity that Neon Brainiacs will be joining us on next week's Drive-In Asylum double feature. We'll announce the movies on the intro reel to the third segment, but you've already seen the trailers for them already, and you're already waiting for us to do these movies.
They're 80s movies. How about that? And
yeah.
Especially if Neon Brainiacs are on, it's going to be 2 80s movies. But I have so much to say about both of them, so I'm very excited for both.
Me too.
Next week, so I'm super into it. So, but I'm excited for Vice Squad. Never seen it, and obviously, my love for Angel, and how much I enjoy it. I even mentioned I used to, in my drink video, I worked the block with Angel for a while. We used to be down on Sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a revealing moment and a brave one.
Yeah.
I applaud you.
I used to have an old cowboy look out for us. And sometimes when I'm sad, I think about how awesome Angel is. Like, what a movie, And
it's life affirming. Susan Tyrell, tour de force.
I love her so much.
What can't she do? What role couldn't she play?
She's great. I love everything that she did. I think about Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker a lot too, and how seriously out of control everybody in that movie is nuts. That movie is awesome. Like, they should make an HBO series of that. Like, I know I don't want AI to take over, but if we could just AI generate everybody from that movie and make 8 episodes of it, I wouldn't lie. I'd watch that. Just that.
Well, serious question. Do you think eventually we'll get to that point where you can just write your own fanfic story and it will look like these people actually performed in it?
I think that you will at some point. I don't think that they will ever get to the point where they're like, oh, well, we're going to do Betrayer Nightmare Maker for Sam, the series. Like, even if it would be enormously expensive, I think, to do. I want a whole episode of that guy coming over to fix the cable. You know what I mean? Like a good 60 minutes of that. That's what I want.
I love that Vince is impressed by the Psycho's workout regime in Angel. I think that's pretty good.
They should do a book of that, just like his whole workout routine. Like, how many sets is he doing?
Yeah.
Like, what do you bench, Psycho?
It could be like Linda's cannibal cookbook that she did.
Oh, I love that.
Someone could write the Psycho workout. Vince, you should do that. You should write it as if it was the guy from Angel.
Oh, I love everything about it. Like, that her friends are the street people and the old cowboy star, and just she's still
the drag queen.
Drag queen. She's still going to school, and no one in her school realizes she's out all night doing this, but she's still taking tests in the morning.
Somehow these people are actually taking care of her too.
Yeah.
She really has not met any kind of ill.
No, they're all like super kind to her.
Sorry,
I for a minute. Yeah, but like everybody is just super, super nice to her. Like nobody's using her.
Somehow, yeah. It's like, the hooker with a heart of gold kind of cliche.
The strip with a heart of gold. Like, I saw, I read somebody in a review once said, this movie's going to give people bad ideas. I'm like no, I maybe it does. Like, when I saw this kid, I'm like, if I move there, I'm going to have a good life. Everybody's going to take care of me. That's not what I would have done.
No.
I've been down at the whiskey, turning tricks at the whiskey and go.
I thought that after watching Times Square. I was like, you know what? Even if you can't find a place to live, you can run away to New York and go live in an abandoned warehouse along the river that somehow none of the other 50,000 winos have discovered. And you can set up, they had a reasonably nice apartment in there. They had all those clothes hanging up, and they had, plastic over the windows. Somehow they went out and bought these sheets of plastic. Where'd they get that from?
I mean, you can get on the radio and be super racist in the song that you sing, and nobody stops you,
Provocative.
like on the radio.
Using racial slurs in a punk song.
Yeah. And they're like, I just keep playing it. Eric Bedrosian's like, just keep going. Let him do it.
Yeah, Tim Curry thought it was a great idea to put that out over the airways, and the station manager thought it was a good idea too.
Yeah.
That's Times Square. I love that movie.
A whole set on top of a building while those people are there. Oh.
Yeah, they would throw TVs off of buildings onto the crowded street below them, and somehow no one got injured. God forbid that had landed on somebody's head.
No, I love that. And the other girl's like, well, I guess I'll go back to being a senator's daughter. Really, you're going to move back to the rich house like after that? Like you lived, like you did stuff. And she's like, oh, I did. I'll talk about it someday with my friends. You did some crazy stuff.
She was a dabbler.
Yeah. Becca said she wanted to be Pretty Woman when she was a kid, which. Yeah, how would you met a rich husband? Well, no, not rich. Never mind. You didn't meet a rich husband.
I could see how. Yeah, I could see how young women would aspire to that if you watched Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman.
Yeah, like this is great. All I do is also.
She didn't even have to sleep with them, really.
No, she didn't even have to sleep with him. Also, if you think about it, he's a fucking asshole because when he negotiates the days out, her by hour rate, he knocked her by hour rate down to like $40 an hour by keeping her for a week. And she's like, yeah, this is fine. No, her pimp would have beat the fuck out of her. He's like, no, you are worth a lot more than this.
She didn't have a pimp though, did she?
No, I guess not. No.
They were independent operators, which is another strange thing that happened in that movie. Somehow nobody had,
Becca's telling me what the name of the other pimp was, Carlos. She knows Pretty Woman really well. I've seen it like once.
Ramrod and Vice Squad would have beat the shit out of both of those girls, Julia Roberts and her hooker partner, and it would have been a very ugly scene. So be prepared. Vice Squad does not flinch in its depiction of the grim realities of living on the street, of being a prostitute, and the other derelicts that wander in and out of this movie. This movie will make you feel like you need a shower. Absolutely.
Oh man, I took one right before, so I'm gonna take another one.
You will. This was an HBO movie for me. Like I remember seeing this, back in like 83 or 84 was when it was shown. That's earlier. Mike Justice wondered how they could show this movie on TV and it wouldn't be 15 minutes long. It was the TV guide or the TV guide summary for the HBO screening. So there you go. HBO broadcast.
I went to that a couple weeks ago, and I went to that pop culture store. It's in Bell Vernon. They had some of the large size TV guides for sale, and I was just looking at them. And you know how they did like the non-digest size, but they did the slightly bigger size for a brief period.
Yes, I didn't like that.
No, but they had a bunch for sale, and I was thinking about all the movie listings in them, and I was going to buy a couple, and I'm like, this is just going to make me sad.
You liked that, and I didn't. You said you liked the big format. Size. Yeah, I like the small one.
Do you like when it was stapled, or do you like when it got the hard spine?
I distinctly remember when it went to the perfect bound format. Yeah. I don't know. I still have a soft spot for the old stapled version.
I had the same way. Like the old stapled version felt more hefty and more. It had more something to it, right?
Yeah. The perfect bound version was like Reader's Digest.
Yeah. Yeah. I know they still sell it. I see it. But like now when you look through it, like the listings you're not getting like, there's no UHF channels to find out what.
Yeah. Why would you need it now?
Why would you? Yeah. But man, we had a subscription for a while. That was like, my mom said, what do you want for Christmas? And, being a geek, I said, look at a subscription. So I had a subscription for like 6 months, and like I would beg for them to renew it. And they're like, do you really read it that much? And I'm like, oh my God, it's all I do. I read every issue like a lunatic. You're the only one in the house that reads it. And I was like, I can't help that no one else wants to. Yeah, you guys, I'm planning out my week.
So, are we going to give away some DVDs on the third segment?
Yeah, I got. Do you want me to show you what I got for the
Yeah.
third segment? Nobody claimed these, so I'm going to redo them. How about that? Because nobody claimed them. So we have one. One did get claimed.
Yeah.
Yeah, one got claimed. Steve won it. The Siege and Ip Man, and we got one new one, a new Donnie Yen Kung Fu movie called. I'm going to say it's Sakura, not Sakura. It's a movie about Sakura and how Sakura was. No, it's a new Kung Fu movie called Sanka. If you want to get that, so we'll have those. Maybe a couple other ones. These are all Blu-rays coming up for the
Ooh.
for the last segment. So come back and you can win. And please, when you win, please tell me that you won it. This contest only available for continental United States. Void were prohibited. No purchase necessary.
If you're from Canada, you can still enter and win, but you have to pay the postage and be warned it's going to be about $16.
Yeah.
So it's so expensive to send shit to Canada now. I was really stunned.
Yeah. So if you send it to us, we're going to ask you to send us an Anne Murray CD back.
Gordon Lightfoot, R.I.P.
Yeah, I know. Oh, the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Anywho, who other than me's first time is watching this? Let me know.
Yeah, before we cut to the movie, let us know if this is going to be your first time watching Vice Squad. I posted the link on Groovy Doom, and it's on Tubi this time, so don't worry about any cuts, although you're going to have to sit through some commercials. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm really excited for this because this is a definite blind spot movie, and I thought this would be.
It's Mike Justice's first time watching this. That's exciting.
Yeah. Now,
You blinked out there for a minute. So
is that bullshit or is that legitimate?
Mike is never bullshitting, even though you might read it in a voice that sounds like he's bullshitting. He's not.
Yeah.
Tim's the first timer. Yes.
Yes. Matt's first time.
Matt's first time. Yeah. Oh, JC
time.
Greening. Hi, JC Greening. Nice to see you. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
His first time. Jeff Drake.
Whoa.
Thanks to all you fine folks for hanging out with us tonight. This is a very fun second segment. We hope you'll come back for the third segment.
You should, because you can win Blu-rays, and you can also see what the movies are next week. And as exciting as this week's movies are, and I love both these movies, next week, I got to tell you, next week's movies are probably one of the most excited times I've ever been to show movies on the show.
It's a dream double for you, for sure.
Yeah, it's 100% my dream double feature. So, if I were to do an actual drive-in thing, these would be the two movies that I would show. So
all right. So go watch it on Tubi. We'll be back afterwards to talk more about Vice. Sam's mind will be blown. Guarantee it. So you're gonna want to come back and you win some DVDs on the third segment with us. So join us. Till then, have fun. Watch Vice Squad.